Welcome into another episode of Behind the Wheelhouse on Trucker Talk Radio. You're on with Jon and Justin. We are bringing in today the CEO of VTI Specialized, Stephen Greer. This show is really, it really means a lot to me. I've known Stephen for 15 years now. We've worked together in the trucking industry for a long time. He was regional manager at Landstar and really did a lot of good things for both agents and drivers. And he's really done some amazing things that's now gotten him to the point where he's a CEO of VTI Specialized. He's got an amazing family, beautiful wife, Nicole. He's been very successful.
We appreciate you being on. So let's jump into it. Jon kind of went on with your background a little bit. Can you tell us a little bit more and what kind of got you into the crazy world of logistics?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you guys for letting us come on today. I appreciate it. Like I said, I've known both of you guys for some time now, and I think a lot of both of you guys. So thank you for the opportunity, first of all. But just to get started, so I started into this crazy world of logistics, I guess, in 1998, straight out of college. My first job was C.H. Robinson. So one of the largest freight brokers in the world, obviously. Just learning how to sling freight back in the day is kind of interesting. So, I did that for, I guess 4 or 5 years, just getting my feet wet. And, they say once truck gets in your blood, it gets in your blood, and it's for real.
Yep. Every time I've tried to get out of it, it just it ropes me back in.
So now, I guess 27 years in the freight world, and don't see myself leaving anytime soon.
Are you that old? Man, you're really showing your age right now.
Well, I appreciate it. Being in the freight world for that long will do it to a man, I'll tell you that.
So when did you start getting into leadership in the trucking world?
So I would say really more in the Landstar world is when that started in, when was that?
It was about 15 years ago. That's when I got to know you.
Yeah.
16 years ago.
It was actually 2008 to be exact.
Okay.
I ran basically Kentucky and Tennessee for Landstar and was in charge of recruiting agents, customers, owner-operators, broker carriers, kind of the whole shindig. And, had a really good experience with Landstar and worked with some very good leaders, kind of got me into the, mindset of, what I want to do in the future and kind of, just kind of grow my business. But Landstar was a great company. Like I said, had some great leaders and kind of took that expertise and that knowledge and kind of went to a smaller trucking company where I was able to kind of leverage my experience in brokerage, agents, owner operators, and all that stuff. So went on to a company called Tennessee Steel Haulers, for naming names. Kind of built up their agent program from scratch. I would say over 10 years, tripled their business really from revenue and owner operators and everything. So I would say that probably experience kind of running my own thing as far as being in charge of customers, being in charge of recruiting, owner operators, agents, everything. Kind of got my mind thinking about, kind of want to do my own thing eventually. And that's probably what kind of stair-stepped me into my current leadership role, I'd say.
You've just been named the CEO of VTI Specialized. Congratulations. Tell us a little bit about VTI, what you guys have to offer, and what your plans are for VTI, VTI's growth over the next couple of years.
So we're a small to medium-sized trucking company. We do a little bit of everything as far as, I would say our specialty is more flatbed, but we're not limited to just flatbed work. We do a little dump truck work. We do some van work. We do some brokerage. We do some heavy haul stuff. So a little bit of everything, but about 150 trucks. My goal is to double the business probably within 2 years. So we're actively out there recruiting owner operators that fit what we're trying to do, actively recruiting agents. If you know any agents out there looking for a new home, we've got a great platform. We've got a system called Transport Pro, which some of you guys are probably aware of. It's all web-based, easy to use, but just a lot of capabilities. But the biggest thing I'll tell you is with a smaller company like us, and this is probably the most unique thing, is there are no account conflicts when you come to a company like VTI. It's a wide open book.
That's huge. Usually, I know my days at TQL, Justin's had experiences in the past where where so many customers are off limits?
I would say it's probably the biggest barrier I've seen as far as an agent growth models. Because,
Yes.
When you work with big companies, I'm not going to name you names, but usually there's 4 different account reps calling on the same customer.
Right.
And
Yeah.
even if they haven't used them in 12 months, it's still that other agent's account, and they won't pry it away from you. So yeah, I've been there.
Yeah.
Well, since you're newly the CEO now, what has been some of your surprises of being in that role, and ways that you think that you could maybe change what's been going on at VTI to kind of put your spin on it?
Well, the first thing I tell you is, first of all, I've only been CEO for about 3 weeks now, so fresh into it. I would say the biggest surprise, and it's probably no secret, is just dealing with everything from safety to accounting. We know we have a maintenance shop, mechanics to salespeople out in the field to agents. It's kind of getting my hands around everything has been the biggest surprise right now. It's a full-time job for sure.
So, and where does VTI specialize? What kind of freight do you specialize in? What kind of customers can you really help out, and what sets you apart from some of the other trucking companies where you focus on?
Well, we're based out of Indianapolis, Indiana. I would say our strong point is obviously out of the Midwest. We've got good customer backgrounds that are mostly in the Indianapolis area. Now, once you get outside of the Midwest and down to the Southeast, it's kind of our, I guess, bread and butter. But we don't really go out west. Occasionally, we got some owner operators, but our bread and butter is basically the Midwest, down to the Southeast, over to Texas, back up to the Northeast, kind of the triangle we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Drivers like that triangle. Drivers like to have something consistent. So let's talk about your drivers, the guys who ultimately make everything happen. You are an asset-based company, which is appealing to a lot of customers who are looking for a kind of a mix between brokerage and assets. What kind of driver typically thrives at VTI?
To put it bluntly, somebody that wants to work and run.
That's good. Yeah.
We want guys that want to work hard and, get paid well and smooth, really. The guys that aren't successful, the guys that want to, work for a day here and then take a few days off and then kind of, we want guys.
I wish I could work 3 days a week and make $200,000 a year.
Exactly. Yeah, most definite. So what are some things maybe that drivers can expect when they come to VTI, as for your team, your safety team, your agents? What are some things that you would show to them would be worth coming over for?
Well, I think the first thing is just the ability to talk to the CEO on the phone, the safety director on the phone.
That's huge.
Dispatcher on the phone. We're a small outfit, and I take calls all hours of the night, unfortunately, sometimes. But just that personal touch, I think, is what separates us.
And you'd say that that's probably going to be the case for the agents as well. I mean, you talked about, the support you can offer. That's something huge that agents look at, when coming over. How can they support me? How can they help introduce me to customers? How can they go on calls with me?
I've always come from a background of, you have to have direct customers. That's something that agents have when they come to VTIs. They have direct access to me, first of all, and my, book of knowledge of the customers I've dealt with in the past that can kind of be parlayed into their business, really. Because we're looking for agents that can take a large customer and move whatever freight they're moving. But just that connection, to be able to connect the dots, is huge, I think.
In previous conversations you and I have had about expanding your brokerage arm and attracting specifically brokerage agents. Why should brokerage agents take a look at you guys?
Well, I think the biggest thing is the no conflict of accounts, really. It's an open book as far as wherever accounts you're looking at. I guarantee you that you won't have any conflicts with me. And of course, our system is very broker friendly. Transfer Pro, it's used across the network, and it's very easy to use. So I would say that those two things is probably the biggest difference right now.
Let's talk about technology onboarding specifically. Me and Jon have had numerous conversations on the podcast about recruiting, onboarding timeframes, not losing drivers, even, retention. So, a lot of the carriers, nowadays they are still using the pen and paper method. 28 days, I believe, is something like the average of an onboarding. I know that y'all are great representatives of our major sponsor, Ready App. Can you just tell us a little bit about y'all's experience with that and how your onboarding works?
Yeah, so we've just recently started using that product Ready App, and what we're looking for as far as an application is something that's really easy to use. We've had, I'm not going to name any competitors, but we all know who we're talking about. Some of these large providers have not provided the customer service that we wanted in the past. It's pretty common in this field. And, with Ready App, it's very personalized. The Ready App provides a team to help us onboard our drivers, which is huge, I think, because, we're a small outfit. So our team consists of about 3 or 4 people that are mainly doing recruiting and onboarding. So any help from an outside provider like Ready App is huge on the manpower side, just because there's so much time that goes on as far as recruiting drivers you guys are aware of. And anything you can do to link or shorten that onboarding process is huge, because we all know that, if a driver sits out there more than a week, he's probably on the next job.
He's being contacted by probably 3 and 4 carriers a day.
Exactly.
Most definitely.
Yeah, that's something that we've talked about. Building relationships with these guys. The carrier's spending so much money. That's what a lot of these drivers don't understand, is you guys are spending so much money up front running background reports and processing. And then if you have a driver fall off, even after the drug test, so you're spending money on the drug test, driver falls off, that's a huge loss. And you multiply that by 10, 12 drivers a month. It's so important to establish relationships and drivers to stick with you guys over the course of a few days, hopefully. And Ready App wants to speed up that process, right? They want to really be hands-on with your onboarding team.
Yeah, I think that's huge. And also, speaking of that, we also want to see these guys after the first 30, 60, 90 days. If those guys are leaving within 15 days, we're all losing money on that avenue.
Yeah,
we want to provide these guys a family long term, and that's kind of our goal as far as just keeping in touch with these guys and providing them with good customer service, good freight, good paying freight, consistent freight. So I think Ready App's going to be huge for us, just as far as just onboarding and keeping these guys in the long term as well.
And they're pretty hands-on with assistance, right? I mean, doing, basically offering white glove service. They're getting involved with the driver just as much as your onboarding team is, correct?
Exactly. And I think that's huge in this market.
What do you think of the market after COVID, and what you think it's went to what you think the new year? You're going to be the Las Vegas odds guy right now, I guess. What about the next year? I mean, I've heard crazy stuff where dry van's going to go way up above the price of flatbed next year. What was your thoughts on that? Because we don't have a farmer's almanac that we can pull out every year and look at the truck forecast.
I wish we had a crystal ball. I really do.
Yes.
We've been in what I call a freight recession for the past 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at some numbers, I guess, from 2014, and our rates are pretty much in line with 2014 rates right now. But the problem with that is our operating cost is up 34% from 2014. You do the math; it ain't good. And no. I do think this English proficiency thing, the law that went into effect this summer. We're already starting to see a little traction on that. I think by the time probably first quarter of next year, it's going to be a whole different game, in my opinion. It's already wiping out capacity right now. So I think we're going to see a big demand as far as rates and just overall supply and demand spike here in a few months after the holidays.
Yeah, they're seeing driver count go down. I mean, already. It's not an attractive job. You're gone from your family, multiple days, a lot of times multiple weeks throughout the year. So now you've got, the DOT and enforcing these regulations that have existed for a long time when it comes to being able to simply speak English. So what do you see with this? I mean, we're going to lose we're going to lose probably thousands of drivers, right?
I've heard
Tens of thousands.
some crazy
probably.
numbers. I've heard up to 600,000 drivers, but
600,000.
I've heard that. Yeah.
So that's, I mean, you talk about a driver base of what, 3 million drivers across the country right now.
Yep.
That's a fifth.
So what, I can't do the math.
That's
I'm
that's
a
a
UK
fifth.
grad, but
That'd
what
be
is
a
that,
fifth
like
of-
25%?
Be 20%.
20%? I think it's 20%, right?
That sounds right.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, that's going to cause rates to go way up.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the only way for shippers to pay for that is to pass the buck on to the customer, which it's going to raise prices everywhere. We're already dealing with an inflation crisis.
Well, speaking on that, I know we've talked a little bit on here about brokerage. What are a couple things that you think of or see about with brokerage? I've talked to drivers forever over the years. They want more transparency. Everybody thinks the broker's the bad guy of the whole industry, which I don't agree with that at all. It's a free market enterprise. That's what America was built on. But there is a lot of fraud, and there's a lot of course, uneducated drivers a lot of times that know certain things. What are your thoughts on that? Things that your company can do to help make the drivers understand, hey, this is a fair, this is all up aboard, to try to help that, because there is a lot of just bad publicity for trucking companies out there.
Yeah, I would say that every trucking company has a brokerage arm, in my opinion, and of course we do too as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really necessary in order to service your customer, in my opinion. We've only got 150 trucks. Well, we can't service all of our customers with 150 trucks,
right?
And vice versa.
Right.
So I think that the brokerage is kind of just another arm of our division.
Do you think customers are starting to recognize that? You heard for a while. I mean, I know back in my brokerage days, we only deal with asset-based companies, and a lot of them don't know that C.H. Robinson and TQL are not asset-based companies.
Right.
So do you see that changing where customers they truly like a mix in there? More than likely, they're not going to see a VTI truck in there very often, but you do have that as backup.
I don't see it changing this year, obviously, just because I think we're still flooded with capacity. I think these customers have been getting these cheap rates for so long now,
mm-hmm.
that they're kind of used to it. So it's going to take probably a capacity crunch, which is coming, to really affect that mindset. But I've already heard from customers that I've been talking to just recently that, I would say 2 months ago wouldn't give me a time of day. Well, that same customer is giving me freight as of last week, and a lot of it. So I think I know the vendor they're using, and it has something to do with the non-English speaking. They lost a couple of their carriers. Is what happened basically. So now they're reaching out to an asset-based carrier, and I think you're going to see more of that in the future.
I want to switch over to the idea of autonomous trucks. This is coming, and I think a lot of drivers are anxious about it. I think there are a lot of benefits to it. Every time I think it's not going to come for 15, 20 years, you see a new player coming to the market, and it looks like it's coming tomorrow. You see the stuff that Tesla's doing with its autonomous cars, driverless cars. What do you think about that? What do you think about driverless trucks, and where we're headed with that?
I think you're going to see. I mean, we all know what's coming. I agree, but I think you're going to see different segments happen faster. I don't see them automating the flatbed side for a while, in my opinion.
Yeah, how do you handle that? I mean, if you've got an autonomous truck that's carrying a flatbed load, how do you strap it down? How do you get it strapped down when you're there?
Yeah, how do you check it on the side of the road when you need to check your straps, make sure they're not loosened a little bit?
But I do think the van will happen. It's already happening, obviously. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be, I think the flatbed's a whole different market we're talking about, just from a liability and just a procedure manual. I just don't see it happening for quite some time.
So where does the trucking company go when something like that happens? What is, you're a CEO. Where do trucking companies go? What's their thought process, to make sure that they're prepared for that over the next, 5-10 years?
That's a darn good question.
I wanted to stump you on something.
You stumped me on that one.
You usually have an answer for just about everything. But I think it's important. I think, trucking companies need to start preparing now for the future for different things that can happen. I mean, driver shortages, assets costing, maintenance costs have gone way up, right? You guys own several trucks, correct?
Yeah.
You guys have your own shop. How much is that impacting your business? Maintenance costs are through the roof right now.
Well, just like I said earlier, the operating costs are 34% higher than they were, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And the rates are the same.
The rates are the same.
It's terrible.
Well, you think about it too. Okay, the newer trucks that keep coming out, they're not a great investment a lot of times. The dev systems are horrible. And even the brand new trucks, you might have a warranty. You can't get parts.
They're breaking down more than the old trucks are.
Yeah. So I mean, what do that's got to be a struggle when you're going through your company trucks and you got to decide, all right, it's time to invest in more and sell the older ones. And then you have owner operators that, are trying to get the older trucks. It's a scary time, I would think, for everybody in the industry, more than likely.
Yeah. And not to backstep, but we talked about the autonomous trucks. We are looking at that now, obviously, but we are looking at AI stuff. And then AI is probably a whole different ballgame, because we are looking at that as far as how do we automate some of our processes in place. And that's going to be huge in the next, 3, 4, 5 years, I think.
Yeah. And what does that do for your staff? I mean, there's so many different tasks right now that can be completed probably more efficiently than what your staff can do. So what does your corporate office look like in the next 5 years? Is it just you and your assistant sitting there typing in what they need AI to do?
Yeah. And we're like I said, we're a small company, so we're already pretty lean. But I could see it getting even leaner, as far as personnel, depending on what kind of technology we adapt. And, our TMS system now, they're already automating some of those processes in place. So it's going to be huge. And I think if you're not paying attention to it, you're crazy.
Talking about AI, I'm really looking forward to the trucking shows this coming year. As me and Jon seen so many different aspects and avenues that it can be used in just for trucking. That you're exactly right on that. I think that might be a bigger play in trucking before the autonomous trucks are, for sure.
Yeah, they're already talking. I mean, they've already got AI brokers that are negotiating rates. And that you put a rate into the AI and you say, this is my break even. I want to stay above this. And you have these AI agents that are, you're not talking to a real human being right now.
Yeah.
And they were pretty good, actually. I mean, if you really wasn't paying a lot of attention, you wouldn't known it was a robot, sounding. I mean, it really sounded real human like with the one that I played with.
They don't have the Tennessee drawl that you have, Justin?
No, they don't have that. No. I'm gonna have to start.
Yeah,
I
think you can get some guys with some good accents on there.
I guarantee sell the rights to my voice. That's what I need to do.
He said, "I guarantee it."
Yeah.
Show enough.
I don't even try. That's what's great. I don't even have to try.
Stephen knows that. Stephen, don't let him talk. Don't let him talk
I know.
like that. He's from Tennessee as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
it comes out every now and then.
I can't say anything about that. I apologize.
Hey, I get it every day.
Stephen, tell us what you like to do. What do you like to do, for fun? People who want to get to know Stephen Greer, what are you all about? And do you have a good golf game? Are you any good at pickleball?
I'm amazing at all those, by the way.
You're not good at pickleball. I can promise you that.
Well, being from Tennessee, I'm obviously a huge Tennessee Vols fan. I've got actually one kid that graduated from Tennessee.
That's great.
And I've got a daughter who's a junior at Tennessee now, so I bleed orange. Okay. I love a good bourbon. I love a good cigar. I love golf. So I love all the things that most men like, I would say. But I spent a lot of time with my family, and most of the other time is spent here at VTI. So that's my life pretty much in a nutshell.
Okay. All right. Are you any good at golf?
Yep.
All right.
I hold my own.
I remember those
we'll
days.
have to get out there again. It's been a while.
Yes.
So where do you see? I mean, where do you see VTI in the next 3 to 5 years? What do you really want to accomplish while you're there
So
in this
I
new
told you I
role?
wanted to double the business in 2-3 years. That comes with obviously our truck count's at 150 now. We've got goals to get that up to over 200, hopefully very soon, then 300 by then. So double that size. But more importantly, I'm really trying to grow our freight network. We're strong in Indianapolis, obviously, in the Midwest.
Explain what for those that don't know. I mean, we have listeners outside of trucking as well. What is the freight network? What is that?
So when our guys say they leave Indianapolis area on a load, they get down to southern Georgia. My goal is to have a network of direct customers, the good paying freight where they can get back to where they want to go. So our network is it can be expanded on, but it's very centrally located in the Midwest now. And my goal with my contacts is to expand that. When they go to New Jersey, they go to Michigan, they've got direct customers coming back. It just makes the owner operator happy because he's got good paying freight, consistent freight, and it just expands our whole network as far as truck count, and it just allows us to keep our guys happier, really.
Well, for drivers who want to apply with VTI, they can sign on to ready-app.com, complete a profile, upload your documents. That's really the key to getting on with VTI quickly. Upload your documents that are right there for you in the app. Complete your DOT application, and then go to that little magnifying glass and search VTI. You'll be able to search and find all of VTI's jobs, whether it's company jobs or with agents. Stephen, for shippers who are looking to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to get in touch with your team?
Well, I always get my cell phone number out if I'm being honest.
But
Let's give the website. Let's give the website.
Yeah, go to our website. It's www.vtispecialized.com. Pretty simple.
Okay.
Well, good.
Right.
Well, before we get off that subject, I wanted to go back to one thing. I've been to y'all's location. It's pretty large, good scale. For drivers that might be interested in VTI, there locally or with an agent maybe in the South or where have you. Can you talk a little bit about your shop, because y'all do have a pretty good size shop, and a lot of carriers can't offer that. Can you speak on that a little bit of what how many bays and what all can be done there?
Yeah, we've got about, I would say, 8, actually 9 mechanics full time here. There's there's about 5 bay doors, I believe. But we can do anything, oil change. What we don't do the full engine repair or replacement. So we are limited a little bit, but it gives our owner operators a place to go when they're in town.
Well, you offer these services to your owner operators.
Yeah, they can get work done at a fair price.
At a fair price. That's great.
Yeah, and that's a huge selling point for us because
Yes,
if you're on the road and you go to an outside shop,
they're getting taken advantage of. I mean,
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when I had trucks and I would call and I would we started asking for pictures of the repair, and I had all internationals, and they sent me a picture of a Peterbilt, and I mean, this isn't even my truck. And you know, and the price was triple what I should have been paying.
Exactly. It gives us a competitive advantage just being able to work on our own trucks. And it's just a good thing for everybody, in my opinion. You can control the cost more and provide a service that most people can't provide.
A lot of truckers, they find a place, no matter the price, like what John, it might be weeks and weeks and weeks. At least if it's your employer or your partner that's doing the work, drivers can feel comfortable that we're going to get the truck out of the shop in a convenient amount of time, or at least get the truth. Y'all can be truthful and go, well, it's going to be 3 weeks because we got to wait on a part for a week and a half. Where you get broke down the side road, and you get towed somewhere. I mean, it's just a major pain. So that's why I definitely wanted to bring that up, because I agree with you. I think it's a huge selling point for VTI.
Another benefit of that is, if a guy has work done at the shop, we can work it into his payment plan, where if you go to the outside shop, you're having to pay $3,000 on the spot.
Yeah.
And, we're not a bank by any means, but we can work with our owner operators as far as repairs and shop, stuff like that. So that's a huge selling point as well.
That's huge. You guys do tires too?
Yep.
Okay. Well, before we wrap up, Stephen, what's one message that you would put out there to, market VTI?
I would say if you want a home where you're treated fairly and a company that, we're obviously willing to grow. And if there's an opportunity out there that makes sense revenue wise, you won't find another company that will do it like us. Because like I said, if it makes business sense, we're not scared to tackle that opportunity as well. So I would say, if you were looking for a good, local medium-sized company that's growing fast, that's looking for good owner operators, come to VTI and we'll take good care of you.
Yeah, I can tell you, I know firsthand, Stephen's going to answer the phone.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you don't see that from a lot of CEOs out there.
I can second that. I agree totally. It's refreshing to know that you can work for a company and have a higher up that actually cares and will take 5 minutes on a Sunday to figure something out. So that is huge. Stephen, we really appreciate you coming on today. We appreciate your time and your insight. Everybody, if you're looking for a good place, definitely check out the website. But again, we appreciate your time. I know Jon does as well. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for the time and thanks for the opportunity to spread the word about VTI Specialized.
Yeah, I'm excited for you, Stephen. Congrats on the new position. Everyone be sure to follow us on Trucker Talk Radio for more conversations with industry leaders. We'll see you next time on Behind the Wheelhouse.